Hi, how are you? This is Calypso. I'm really happy to meet you on this channel, which will be about knitting and all my creative adventures. So I'm really happy to have you with me, and I hope that you will like it. So this video is mainly to introduce myself a little bit and to speak about what I have done already. So I'm not completely new on YouTube. I have a channel in German for a little bit more than a year now, which is running quite well. And then I thought, oh, I'll make a channel in French. And this in the beginning was also going really well. But then I think that YouTube noticed that the content is quite similar in the English videos, no, in the German videos and the French videos. So it started squeezing a little bit the French videos. And that was a little bit sad because French knitting community is really into the exchange and commenting a lot, and this was really a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun because I didn't quit making videos in French, but I thought I would like to reach out to more people, and the main language on the internet and on YouTube is English, so I just thought I'll give it a go, and I would like to meet more people from many more countries who share the same passion of knitting and crafting. So mainly I will speak about knitting. Sometimes I do other crafts like sewing, or sometimes I decorate my knitting garments with some crochet, and I like macrame as well, but I mean, you know, the day only has 24 hours and I have to sleep as well and work. So yeah, I really enjoy this, and also do some looking in that direction because my spinning wheel is standing there, so I do also some spinning. And yeah, so I think that's the main hobbies or the main passions are knitting and then spinning. So I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit. Today I'm wearing a sweater by Marie Wallin. This is a colorwork sweater that I made with the yarn Rovenfelser Tweed. I really recommend that yarn. It's a yarn that is really light and at the same time keeps you very warm, but breathes really well, so it adapts to the climate and to the temperature of the room. So now I'm inside. The heating is very low, but I'm not feeling too hot nor too cold, and I know later I will go outside and of course I will put my coat on and I will feel just perfectly happy and nice, because I should mention that I live in Berlin. We are in December. I don't know exactly when I'm going to post this video, probably in January, but yeah, December, January, both months are really cold. So this is the perfect type of garment for this season because it's colorful, and you will notice if you start following me and watching my videos that I like colors. Most of the time my garments are colorful. Also, I like to make up my own knitting, so I like to improvise. When I see a yarn that I like, I just imagine something and start knitting. Of course I make a swatch, so I always recommend to make a swatch to have your gauge, and I plan a little bit, but I like to just imagine my own projects, and I also knit from patterns from time to time. Yeah, so I live in Berlin. I knit since I'm approximately, I think, 10 or 11 years old. So I grew up in France. I was born in France. I first learned knitting in France from a friend of my family, and she taught me to purl and to knit, and the first thing I knitted was a really small jumper in pink and white for a soft toy that I had. So this was the first thing I made, and shortly after that we moved to Germany because my father is German, and my mother wanted to go back to Germany, although she's Mexican. But yes, she thought, I married a German guy, what am I doing in France? So let's go back to Germany. And we came back to Germany, and first we lived in the Black Forest. So this is a really pretty region of Germany, which I really recommend to do some tourism. It's incredibly beautiful. The forest and the nature, and also the small villages and cities. Yeah, so first we moved to a small village, and I kept insisting my mother that I wanted to pursue knitting and learn more about knitting, but she wasn't, she could knit a vest and a scarf, but I wanted to learn more. So she, one day, the same winter we moved to Germany, she helped the neighbor to shovel the snow from her parking space. And so my mother thought she might be a knitter because she was a grown lady. And yeah, she just asked her, and the lady, her name is Ute, she said, yeah, just tell her to come over and I can teach her how to knit. So that's what I did basically. I crossed the street a few days later, I rang her bell, and she was living together with her husband, and both already in pension, not working anymore. So sorry, English is not my first language. I'll try to express myself as well as I can in these videos, but it's not perfect, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, and I just rang the bell of Ute and Hartmut's house, and they let me in, and a wonderful friendship grew from that. So this is something I'm really thankful for. I must say I learned also a lot of German with them, because I understood German really well, but I was not a very active speaker when in my childhood, when we were living in France. I didn't speak it a lot, and so with them I also learned a lot of German, so that was good as well. And she turned out being an exceptional knitter, and she taught me almost everything. I mean, the most important things, such as gauge swatching and measuring correctly, and also doing pretty and neat seams and different techniques, lace and cables, and what else. Yeah, she basically taught me how to take notes as well, how to work properly through a knitting project, so that I would have a result in the end which I really want to wear. And she also used to wear her own knits that she was making. And yeah, so I must say I was kind of lucky, because her she had grandchildren, 3 granddaughters, or she has, but they were living in the north of Germany, so they weren't coming very often. And I was there, like, coming every day for 5 years. I spent almost every afternoon in her kitchen, or in their kitchen, and Hartmut was playing the grand piano. It was just a beautiful atmosphere. And yeah, we would just knit together, and she would also do some baking and some other things she was doing around the house. And yeah, we left, so this small village 5 years later, but I kept visiting them on the weekends, and we are still in contact 20 years later. So this is really wonderful. Unfortunately, her husband passed away not long ago, but she's fine. And she's not knitting anymore because her fingers can't do it anymore. So that's a little bit sad. Well, she's sometimes sad about it. But I like to think that every piece that I knit also carries some of the memories of this friendship we have, and of these beautiful moments we spent together knitting in the kitchen. So that's a bit the backstory of me learning how to knit. And so I knit really since I'm 10, 11 years old, and I've knitted always. I never interrupted this hobby. Maybe for a few months when I moved back to France to study, I only had one project for 10 months, simply because I couldn't take so much stuff with me. But I knit all the time, always, every day almost. And this is kind of, I think, the most important thing that helps me to balance my life, because it's so meditative and it has so many health benefits, and it helps me express my creativity and the ideas that I have. So that's really something really nice about knitting. So maybe by now you will have guessed that I speak French, because I grew up in France and I studied in France later when I was an adult. And then my mother is Mexican, so I learned also Spanish at home. And so I would say Spanish was my first tongue, because it's the language I learned first. French I learned later in school and with my brother when he started going to school. And yeah, so I think Spanish would be like my first mother tongue, and of course I speak French and German as mother tongue level as well. And yeah, then comes English, and I speak some Italian, and I've studied also some Japanese. So I'm really into languages. That's something that's always in my head. So what else do I want to say about me? So I live in Berlin since approximately 2019, and I came here for an internship I had to do for university, and I just kind of fell in love with this vibrant city, so I decided to stay. There are so many things to discover, so sometimes I have to slow myself down and just stay at home and do my knitting, you know. So that's a good thing to calm down, do your knitting when you're living in a city where there's always something happening and you can easily have FOMO. So yeah, that's I think the most important things about me, my knitting story, and also kind of my culture and linguistic background, which is quite important. For me, I also have some other hobbies. I like to practice jiu-jitsu. So this is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is a martial art, and it's really fun. I do that a few times a week as well. So this is also this is kind of the opposite from knitting, but it's good for your fingers. In the beginning, I was afraid that I could hurt my fingers, and once I did hurt my finger, but I kept on knitting because it was a finger I didn't need that much for knitting, so I continued. I think it was this one. I don't remember exactly, so I see it was not that bad. But I think it's even good for the fingers and the hands because it makes them so strong, and you want to have strong fingers for knitting because I don't want to injure myself. So exercising is good if you like to knit and you want to avoid injuries from knitting. It's good to have strong muscles and strong shoulders and strong fingers. So I recommend, maybe not jiu-jitsu, but exercising in general. Yeah, so that's like what I like doing. I also like to go out for dancing and, you know, stuff that just make people happy genuinely. So if you like to dance or if you want to feel happy, just start dancing in your house. It doesn't matter if your moves will look cool because it's your style. It doesn't matter what other people think. And it's the same with knitting. So I like to experiment with my knitting and to choose different types of yarns and to always try to do new things. I don't like to knit the same over and over again. I have knitted a few patterns. I have repeated some patterns a few times because I just found them so good, and I was wearing this piece so often that I thought I'd make it a second time. But most of the time I always make something new, or a different pattern from a different designer, or I just make something up myself. Yeah, so I would like to invite you to visit also my website, because on my website you can find some of my designs and some of my patterns. So I've started to put some structure into this whole improvising my own knitting, and I thought I could turn some of my creations into patterns. So you can find that on my website, as well as some other information and all the links to all the content and also services that I offer, such as translating patterns, that you can find all that on my website. If you want to see more projects that I have knitted in the past, you can of course follow me on Instagram, where I post photos of what I knit quite regularly, and also simply go on Ravelry. Ravelry is such a good resource for inspiration and also to meet people and the forums and etc. So go on Ravelry, I recommend that, and there you can also find my profile and all the projects. Not all of them, but a good amount of projects. Yeah, I think when I was 17 or so, I put myself the goal that I wanted to be able to wear a knitted garment that I had made myself every day. And this goal, I think I reached it pretty quickly, because I thought I would need, of course there are different seasons, so I need different types of garments for the different seasons, and also, I don't know, I thought I would need like approximately 30 garments that I knit myself to have a different piece of clothing for every day, but I can also switch around and combine in different ways with different styles of other clothes and wear in the different seasons. it's really nice to have your own clothes. It brings so many benefits. So first of all, you enjoy your clothes a lot in a different way than if you were just buying them. And also you learn the value of clothing, which is often underestimated by people who don't make their own clothes, because it takes so much time and so much effort and also knowledge and skills that you have to learn at some point. And yarn is not cheap also. I mean, depending on what you knit and depending what you like to use and also what you can afford, that is also a constraint sometimes. Making your own clothes is something really kind of special, that and I find it really great that knitting is booming so much and that so many people are learning how to knit and making this a hobby and sharing it online. This is something which I find really exciting. I want to have a little bit a different approach on this channel. I don't want to do a podcast style of videos. I would like to have more project-based approach, so I hope I will manage to do it, because also of the lighting, especially in winter. We don't have a lot of lighting in Germany. We have lights from 9 AM to 3 PM for 2 months or 3 months of the year in winter. So it can be a little bit difficult to make videos. What I want to say is that I want to have more project-based approach and do some kind of vlogging about the project I'm currently knitting, and I try to take you step by step through the process of knitting a certain project or garment, and not that much having a regular diary style of podcast, because this is already what I'm doing in my German videos and I want to keep doing it. But I would find it quite boring, and also I don't want to again have this algorithm issue with YouTube, but do some kind of different style videos. I don't know how well I manage to do it. Certainly I will have to grow a little bit into it and to practice and learn and find new ways and new approaches to change a bit the style of this classical podcast diary style videos, which I find great. But I would like to mix things a little bit up. I don't know if I'll manage to do it, but I'll try. And to have a different approach and not focus on one garment every time. So for example, I'm currently working on a video because I have a collaboration for a design with the design brand Manos del Uruguay, which I'm really happy about. And so I'm currently making this design, so I'm planning it out and etc. And I'm currently at the stage of the swatching, and I would like to document this design process, and then this will at the same time in the end kind of be a tutorial on how to make this design, how to knit this pattern, and at the same time you will have an insight into how I designed and how I came up with the ideas of making this design. So it will be a cardigan, that's all I can say for now, because the yarn is part of the new collection for 2024 of Manos del Uruguay, so for now it's secret. So with that, I would like to take you on the design journey of that upcoming design, which will be available in the beginning of next year, and at the same time you will be able to use it kind of as a tutorial if you like the design and want to make it as well. These are the most important things that I wanted to mention in this kind of introductory video about myself. Is there something else I want to say? I don't think so. Maybe not now. But in future videos you will hopefully we will hopefully get to know each other better. So if you like this, if you're interested, if I made you kind of curious about the content that is coming up on this channel, then please leave me a comment, say hi. I want to get to know you as well. I'd like this to be kind of an exchange and conversation. Leave me a comment, say hi, where are you watching me from, and yeah, enjoy, happy knitting, and see you soon. Bye!